Welcome to the Satanic Chef Live Devil's Dinner Special Edition. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Just going to take off my coat. Welcome. So thank you. Welcome to Devil's Night. What a better night to do a Devil's Dinner demo with you guys than tonight. So, let me give you a little history on the Devil's Dinners. I have been catering TSC events since, well, HQ opened up. And I guess I can pull up some pictures It all started in a galaxy far, far, far away. So, a man named Vincent Castiglia came to the temple in 2017, and he put on a giant art show. And I decided that night I was going to do a little display. I had some hummus and some olives and some antipasta. You can't really see because it's on my phone. Well, let's fast forward about a year later. Ada contacted me at the time, and she and somebody else were putting together a tea party called The Scholars Confront the Satanic Temple. And it was Massimo Intravigna and Joseph Laycock in a panel with Lucian Greaves talking and about politics and religion. And I put together this intricate mid-afternoon, like tea sandwiches kind of like a thing. And Shiva Honey, she helped me set up that night. And afterwards, we were like, we should just totally do a dinner here, like I had been talking about forever, since it opened up to the public in 2015, pretty much. So we did plan this dinner starting in, what was this, in July 2018? Well, in June of that year, we lost Anthony Bourdain, a very important member of the restaurant community. He committed suicide in a hotel in France. He was with his best friend at the time. And it was very, 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 very sad. It was a big blow to, I think, a lot of people, because people saw this man who happened to be very, 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 very rich and powerful, but nobody could understand why he, committed suicide. So sadly, he did. And, a lot of people don't realize that restaurant people, we torture ourselves and we hurt ourselves a lot with drugs and alcohol, and we have led a life of, not seeing our families and not being able to go to take care of our mental health like a 9-to-5 person does. So it was around late September 2018, and out of nowhere, I went through a breakup that I did not see coming. And much like myself, I saw a partner of mine go through a rough time who was also a restaurant person, and it opened my eyes up to want to do these things, the Devil's Dinners, and these things I do called Pizzagate, to help people that are in the restaurant industry, help them find a way to get therapy, or at least try and find a way to get them help if they need it. So, throughout the month of October, we planned this thing. We shopped around ideas. Should we call it the Satanic McDonald's, which is another thing I'll get into later at some point in another lifetime. But we also, when I lived in California, I had a project I was working on called Black Arches, which was also going to be a satanic rock and roll band, like, David Bowie's kind of like Diamond Dogs sounding, but also doing the satanic pop-ups around Los Angeles, but that died out when I moved back here. So that's another story, another life. Playing this thing, and I'm bouncing names, actually. We call it Devil's Reign, or I don't know, and finally it just came together. Let's call it the Devil's Dinner. And the idea was, I wanted to do like a masquerade, and she had this idea, like, why don't we do something based off the Rothschild parties of like the 70s? And I'm like, well, that's amazing, so we should call it like a Sorley. Why don't we just call it a Devil's Dinner? We went with that. So we did, and throughout the month of October, I planned it with her. I found, different people that could print flyers and make flyers. And I contacted my old friend, Zandora LeVay. That's her right there. It's like one of my best friends. And I said, hey, remember when we lived together in California? I'm doing this thing. It's a dinner. Do you want to come out here and do you want to perform at it? Maybe help me get some publicity for it. She said, absolutely, I'll be there. So we had her on board. I had pretty much just myself prepping everything for 2 days straight. And after, brought everything up to Salem, set everything up. I had 2 helpers. I hired a famous photographer, kind of semi-famous photographer. Her name's Paris Vachon. She's worked for Marilyn Manson, and she worked for Limp Bizkit. She's awesome. She's amazing. She's actually living in Nashville right now. She's got this sound stage. She's working with bands so they can do live music and online, which is really, really cool. But yeah, she came and she did the photography, and we did this event, and I think we had people eating all the way until 1 o'clock in the morning, and then afterwards we did a ritual for the restaurant people, basically asking people if they wanted to burn something, and we took their offerings, and we did a small little destruction ritual, and Zandora performed, and that was it. Then the next year, we just went right into like a destruction ritual where we pretty much just, took things and, like a Bible, lit them on fire to destroy all those horrible things we've had to live with our lives that are, we wanted to put behind us. I had plans. Do Devil's Dinners in Los Angeles this year. Do Devil's Dinners everywhere. Yep, then COVID happened. But now here we are. We're all together in the same room. This is the way things were, they were, not destined to be, but they are right now. Nothing we can do about it, but let's make the best of the situation. So what I was also doing with my profits was donating it to Mass General Hospital. They have a Depression Clinical Research Foundation. I wanted to give it to them because I know a lot of people in the restaurant industry go to therapy, but yet therapists kind of look at them and they kind of go, well, I don't know how to help you because I don't know. I just don't know. So I was talking with them for a while to try and get them to build a program because they have like the best psychology unit in the country for bipolar disorder, but build something for restaurant industry workers to study how we like go through like different phases of post-traumatic stress and how to really target it and see if we can find ways to get grants to get people free therapy. Just to have somebody to talk to, somebody who's working opening from 7 in the morning till 2 a.m. and doing it all over again and drinking themselves to death. This is tea, by the way. But, the way the restaurant industry works, it will either eat you alive or spit you out. And that's just pretty much it. So it's got a good message, especially keeping people away from bad therapists like, Ellen Lachter or quack jobs like Colin Ross. So, we are not limited on time tonight, but I'm going to give you a full hour. Afterwards, Shiva is going to give a talk in the ritual chamber, I believe, and then she's going to do a DJ set till 2 in the morning. It should be fucking amazing. My Bibles are on the floor where they belong. Chef Jack is wandering around. Maybe he'll come in here if I can trick him. But We're going to start by teaching you guys how to make a charmula sauce. So a charmula sauce is really kind of like a North African sauce. It's got a combination of peppers and herbs, and it's all put together like that. So right now I've got pastilla peppers in here. I got a beet, and I've got cherry and red wine vinegar that I've been soaking these in. Now right here, I happen to have some garlic confit, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my little blender over here. I'm going to plug it in. It probably helps to turn that off. I blame that Bible for doing that. Motherfucker. I'm going to put my top on. I'm going to take my peppers, which these are fresh peppers, and I've rehydrated them in vinegar, salt. And I've also put some paprika in there, and I've also put a little bit of cayenne pepper. Here, these are some leftover Calabrian chili peppers. Now, I'm going to take those and put these in here as well, because this is going to be a hot fucking sauce. Also, I noticed on Instacart that Restaurant Depot is available, and I bought myself some fun things today, like some more of these deli containers. I'm going to take some of this garlic confit, which is technically garlic that has been cooked in olive oil slowly for about 15 minutes. It becomes very, very mashable. And I'm just going to put it on. Going to let it go. It's going to be a spicy fucking sauce, so we need to make sure it's spicy enough. So this is called ginger bee hot sauce. These guys called Gray Skull Booking. They booked a lot of shows in Boston. They put this out, so I'm going to drop a couple of drops in there. It's essentially, we're making harissa, which is like a Northern African kind of thing, and then we're making charmula, which is also a Northern African thing. Harissa is more also like a Middle Eastern thing, too. It's all over the place. You can get different varieties of it throughout Middle Eastern stores, like pepper paste. But I like making my own, so. So I'll show you something. Actually, you won't, because I forgot where I put it. So we're just going to take our harissa. I'm going to pour out half of this. Yeah, that's spicy as fuck. I would not fuck with that shit. So how I like to make charmula? That's really fucking good harissa. I learned this trick from a guy named Nookie. He's a chef. He worked at a place called Oleana as a sous chef there for a while. And then he became the executive chef of the Boston Red Sox. And then he later became my boss. And he is a magical human being. And I love him dearly. He is very special. But that's how you make harissa. So to make charmula, I'm taking some cilantro. And I'm just going to rip a bunch of parsley off. Stems and all. cover it in just a little bit of olive oil. Let me tell you, when you pour some of this on a Bible and you set it on fire, the fire does not stop, and it's amazing. Is my friend Rob Stevens in here tonight? He supposedly should be in this room. He is a legend. He is the founder of a band called 100,000 Leagues Under My Nutsack. Even Lucian Greaves says he's a legend. He wrote a song, one of our favorite songs to listen to. It's called My Balls in Your Girlfriend's Mouth. I think he's here. And that's how you make charmula. So essentially, we're taking the mother sauce of the harissa and we're adding herbs to it. And that's it, just with a shitload of olive oil. If you can't find harissa, you want to make your own, you can grab those canned chipotle peppers, the adobo ones, and puree it with a bunch of herbs and some olive oil. But we'll save this. And I'm actually going to use that for the entire fucking year now. We can get rid of our blender. I guess that is what happens when you're from Cleveland. Just cleaning up. So our next step is we're going to make some salsa verde. So I'm going to grab my blender. Now this is a herby salsa verde. This is not... Somebody messaged me on Twitter trying to argue with me that when I made one of my cooking videos and I made salsa verde in it, that I wasn't actually making salsa verde. The salsa verde contained tomatillos. And I said, well, that's tomatillo salsa. You also understand that tomatillos happen to be green, which is why they call it salsa verde, tomatillo salsa verde, which means green salsa. Verde means green. And the guy told me to go fuck myself and then disappeared. So I don't really understand. Some people, right? No, that was a crumpled up piece of the Bible, Beta. Here we go. Happy Devil's Night. That's Ada. She's amazing. So what I have here happens to be an onion. I'm just peeling an onion. It's a small onion. Spanish onion. I'm going to put my onion in. And what I have here is anchovy, capers, and garlic. So what I did earlier before we got started is I took jar capers that I had left over. I took some garlic, about 10 cloves, and I took some ginger, like that much. Blended it with a couple of anchovies that I had left over. So I like putting a couple of this into my salsa verde. I like taking some parsley and just ripping the tops off. I'll save the stems for something else. So I got parsley, ACG, also known as anchovy, capers, and garlic in here, cilantro, and I have some onion. Guys, Rob Stevens is in here. The man, the myth, the legend is in this room right now as we speak. So this is yuzu juice. I'm going to use this to substitute limes. Just going to pour a little bit in there, just enough to get this thing going. I did. So what I've done is I pureed all of that good stuff into kind of like a paste. I'm going to take some salt, just a little bit, a little Urfa chilies, blend it back up again. Take just a little bit of olive oil. And that's how you make salsa verde. Also, Restaurant Depot sent me this today. You guys don't know what Restaurant Depot is? You can buy a fry-a-later, like a big fry-a-later from them. And guess you can have it delivered now. It's amazing. Or a real deli slicer. So tempted to have one just delivered on the same day just because I wanted one. Salsa verde, put it in there. Yes, like always, like harissa, charmoula, ACG. Those are like garlic confit is definitely a mother sauce for me. It's not a sauce, but I use it in everything. So it's like the mother of everything for me. I'm going to bring this over to the camera so you can see it. It's nice and green. So next up, now we got our salsa verde done. We have our charmoula. We're going to cook some lamb. I know Rob Stevens. I've known you from what, like since 2006, I think. Yeah. There was this one time I stayed at Rob's house on the way back from California, and I'm really sorry about that. I peed on his futon. I was sleeping, I was drunk, and I fell asleep and I peed on his futon, and then I woke up the next day and I told him, I said, I peed on your futon. He's like, God damn it, dude, what the fuck? So we went down to a futon store, we got a brand new futon mattress for him, I bought it, and then that night we went back to, partying, and I peed on his futon again. So I took a bunch of money and I threw it under his door and I wrote him a note and I drove off. He called me up about an hour later and said, dude, you're fucking fired. You pissed all over my futon again. What the hell is wrong with you? That's how much of a drinking problem I had back then. Now I'm 40 years old and I have health issues. I'm going to take a little bit of butter. So Rob, I'm sorry I did that. I apologize. What do I do with that pan? Well, I guess we're going to use this big fucker. So when you're going to sear lamb, you want to sear it at a high temp. I have my oven here at 440. And I've got this. We serve lamb at every devil's dinner, just as kind of like an offering. So I have this rubbed in, earth chili, salt, a little bit of pepper. It's been like this for about an hour and a half, and I scored it as well. Usually I use a smaller pan than this, but instead I'm using this thing. This has little bits and pieces of burnt Bible in it, so it should be blasphemous. I'm going to take some sunflower oil. Now, sunflower oil has a higher smoke content than regular oil, so what that means is that it's going to get hotter than something like olive oil. It will also get hotter than something like canola oil. So I'm a very big fan of grapeseed oil or sunflower oil. $50. Just going to take my lamb and put it right in there. So this happens to be a resting tray. That's what we're going to put lamb on when it's done, just to rest it. In the meantime, while that's searing, I took some fingerling potatoes that I bought from the store earlier, and I cooked these just now on a little bit of salt. So I'll bring them over to the camera so you can see them. These are big ones. These are basically baby Yukons. I'm just looking for some nice sear here. Just give it a nice color. When you put meat down, you want to do it fat side down first. Can you believe it snowed here today? The last time it snowed here, on Halloween weekend, it was 2011, and it got 90 degrees every day, so I hope this is a good sign. So, I'll let that go just another minute. Fat side down. Move our resting tray. Take a couple of my potatoes out. So I'm just going to press these down, like smash them with my hands. I'm going to put them over here. So I've already cooked these thoroughly. I'm just going to let them cool down for a minute. Now, make sure I don't burn my lamb. Take my lamb, take my butter, put it right in, and then throw this shit right in the oven. But first, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Push these guys down. I'm cool down. Five-minute timer.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
Cook our lamb for 5 minutes. I got so much going on, I don't want to forget about it. While they're kind of cooling down, we're going to take them and put them right into our fryer here. Drop them right in. And this was a side at the Devil's Dinners. And believe it or not, the kitchen at the temple is about the size of this kitchen. So we had to plate 20 plates each round. It was pretty intense. I love it. Let's see around. Alright, so next up I'm going to teach you guys how to sear off some broccoli rabe. I got a Le Creuset pan, fancy one that is. I'm going to give it a little wipe down. Got some black ash in there. I wonder where that's from. Probably a Bible. Speaking of. These things are the only thing that belongs in the microwave besides your leftover steak and cheese. I don't care what anybody says. It's not a cheesesteak. It's a steak and cheese. It's very important to me that that language is used. Send me some candied pumpkin. So I got my ACG here. Got my yuzu. This is how we're going to make our broccoli rabe. Got my flame. You know, the best way to get these super fucking hot is, of course, light a little Bible fire. Seriously, it actually makes it hotter. I'm going to put a little bit of sunflower oil in there. Need to get more. Some butter. A little ACG oil. Let that get super, super, super hot. So this is from last year's Devil's Dinner. We put these down on everybody's plate. We had a menu inside. Pretty cool, huh? I'm going to take my rabe, which is right here. Now, rabe is a bittery kind of like broccoli, and I love it. Place it right in. So the way the trick to cooking it is don't put it down curbside, put it down sideways. Take a couple pieces. I wish it had smell-o-vision too. What are we doing over here? A little rare. Definitely needs another minute or two. Lamb is one of those things you definitely want to set a timer for because you don't want to fuck up lamb. Lamb is very expensive, and especially when it comes to cooking a Halloween meal. Satanic has put together different like meals and offerings for people for every holiday. So when it comes to cooking meals, you want to make sure that you don't fuck up your meat if you're going to cook it. These are very good exceptions to eating meat during the year. It's for religious purposes only. While that's cooking, I'm going to hit it with a little bit of salt, just on one side. Let that salt absorb. Some Marish pepper. What an amazing party you guys got going on. I hope you guys are socially distancing. So we're just waiting for these to get a nice char. While we do that, show you our potatoes. They're a little overcooked, but they're fine. Oh, they're perfect. Just give them a little salt, a little pepper. And that's it. So when you cook these fingerlings, Drop them in 375. Make sure they come out golden brown, slightly dark, because you want to get that umami, sweet, sour, salty, bitter flavor. And by doing that, you're going to take some salt at the end, toss it immediately. Take some herb chilies, which are fruity, as well as some Mars pepper, and toss it in that shit. Make sure you let them dry out a little bit before you toss them. They'll get too soggy. It can be satanic. You know, if we bless it. Getting some nice char on these fuckers. Turn them. And to keep this fucking thing from going off, I'm gonna prop that right in the oven. Take my lamb out. So I have a resting tray here. I'm just going to crisp up that skin a little bit in that butter. Damn, that's fucked up. It's cooked about rare. Let's sit. So when you take something like lamb out of the oven, you want to make sure it sits so it doesn't keep cooking. We want these charred up. Damn, that's fucking hot as shit. The trick is, at the end, you want to take this anchovy, caper, garlic stuff, mix it together, and then toss it in that. And be generous as fuck. That's exactly what we're doing. Shaking my fist stuff. Just on a plate. Bring all this over to show you in a second. Stuff smells so fucking good. Grab the tip of a spoon. While it heats up. Toss some of that over there. You can smell the garlic, you can smell the ginger, you can smell the anchovies, you can smell the capers. And how am I going to plate the lamb? Well, it's funny you ask. Because before, what we were doing is we were rubbing legs of lamb and we were cooking them in the oven slowly. So this is obviously a lamb loin, which is a lot different. Maybe just another minute. As it's been cooling down, doesn't mean that it's necessarily done. So all it's doing is it's resting, so everything is just sort of like going to one part. No, that's good. If anything, it's a little raw right here, but it's fine. That's good. This is kind of how we plated it at the Devil's Dinner. My friend Josh Oguski got a very similar name to mine. An OST. Mine is OSTROF-SKY. His is OGU-SKY. But he makes these really badass plates. So he sells a lot of them to restaurants. What we were doing before is we were taking the lamb, we were rubbing it with charmula, marinating overnight, and then roasting it in the oven. The idea was that I was going to get, lamb chops and then just sort of sear them. I got my charmula here. So let's make that be our base. Instead, we're actually going to put it right on the plate. Take my lamb. Cut right into it. It's nice and rare. Do it like this. So yeah, just put it on the plate like that. Season the loin, a little bit of salt. It's perfectly rare, actually. Take a little bit of my salsa verde right on top. And that is kind of like a devil's dinner at home. Tomorrow, I'm going to do something kind of similar, but I'm also going to include a Celtic dish or two. So, but by incorporating these ingredients. So let's bring these over to the camera so you guys can see them. Alright guys, so here we go. Here's our fingerling potatoes. They've been brought up in cold water and then cooled down, smashed, and then fried. Tossed with Urfa chilies and Marish pepper. Here's our broccoli rabe, which has been coated with this delicious anchovy caper garlic stuff, which I can just eat. So fucking good. And here's our lamb. Charmula. Seasoned lamb. Salsa verde. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Shiva should be talking any minute now. You guys, all you people here that are guests of mine even, please go over to the ritual chamber after this. Let's get a fucking hail Satan. Let's light some fucking Bibles on fire. Until next time, I'll see you guys again tomorrow.